Hey, 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 it's Alive a Day for the month of May, and I'm Penny, and welcome back to Home Economics, where I'm going to be sharing with you some of the things that I've learned over the year of how to be successful in your kitchen. So, tonight's topic is cutting boards. And, everybody has their own preferences. Maybe I should have done a knife demonstration before I did cutting boards, but, so tonight we're doing cutting boards. You know why? Because I don't have to wash anything. So, anyways, when it comes to cutting boards, there's all kinds of materials. You can have an island that's nothing but cutting board. There's all kinds of different materials. It's all really your preference as to what you'd like to use. So, the first kind of cutting board I'm going to talk about is just good old fashioned wood. Just good old wood. Um, the care for this is when it gets soiled, you can just wash it off with soap and water. Um, I like to do about once a month. I will cover it with salt, like kosher salt or sea salt or one of the heavier, more gritty salts, and I'll give it a good scrub down. Now, salt is a preservative and it also is an antibacterial. So what it'll do is it'll not only help cure your, it'll kill any bacteria that gets on your cutting board, but it will also help preserve it by inhibiting mold and other nasty things that get on wooden cutting boards. Once it's all washed and dried, like completely dried, then you can coat it with a little bit of olive oil, and that will help seal in the moisture and keep it good for you for forever. Um, this particular cutting board is made out of bamboo. It's and I found that this one is really, really good. I like this size. It's a good usable size. The only thing I don't like about it is it has these little rubber gaskets, and there's nothing wrong with that, but oh, it's clock time. Ugh. Okay, well, I'm going to talk through it. But anyways, so, I like this. It's bamboo. It's really durable. It cuts really well. One of the things that's nice about wood versus the plastic cutting boards, and we'll get to plastic in a minute, is it's easier on your knives because it's not as tough, I guess is the easiest way to say it. Because if you think about it, you can break wood, but it's kind of hard to break plastic. So that's a little bit easier on your knives, and so I highly recommend wood over plastic. But we need to talk about plastic. And one of the reasons that we have to talk about plastic is because we have what's known as impervious. And the reason that it's considered impervious is because it doesn't pick up bacteria, and it actually inhibits, it's not susceptible to some of the things that the more organic material would could get you sick if it's not cured properly or not taken care of properly. So plastic is considered impervious, and basically what I use plastic for is I use it for meat. So if I'm doing anything with meat, especially chicken, I use impervious. I don't use my wooden boards for meat in any way, shape, or form. I use this for cooked meats. I use this for raw meats. So plastic. And they come in all kinds of friggin' sizes. I have little tiny ones. I got big, huge ones. This is kind of my go-to size because this is like big enough for just about everything. So, I highly recommend that if you're going to have a cutting board, have a wooden one, have a plastic one. The plastic one, like I said, is for, for meats and the like, and then your wooden one is for all your fruits and vegetables and all that other good stuff. And last but not least, you can get what I call a fun cutting board. Oh, check out this cutting board. This is so cool. And I apologize because I'm live, so of course you can't read it because everything's backwards. But this particular one is so cool because it's not only got inches on it, so like when somebody tells you to make a 1/4 inch dice or something, you have like 1/2 inch measurements, or something like that. I know that's crazy. And then it has pie diameters, so like you can roll out your pie crust. It's like if you have a 9-inch pie crust, you can roll out your 9-inch pie crust or whatever. And then these little circles. You know what those are for? If you're making macaroons. So, it's the perfect size for making macaroons and, and also biscuits, I suppose. I really don't know. I just thought that this was really fun. And then over here, it has measurement conversions because Lord knows you need measurement conversions. Like the other day, I was reading my auntie's recipe for her cheesecake, and it called for a pint of sour cream. And I'm like, what's a pint? I don't remember what a pint is. What's a pint? Does it say here? No, it doesn't say what a pint is. But a pint, a pint is 8 ounces. And a half pint. Yeah. A pint is 16 ounces. A half pint is 8 ounces. Yeah. So, and thank God for Google. Because if it wasn't for Google, a lot of these measurements, I wouldn't know what to do. Yeah. So anyways, so sometimes you have to look things up. But, so this has some, nice little metric conversions on it, which comes in really handy because, none of us in America knows what the hell 100 milliliters is. None of us. Nope. They tried teaching us the metric system when I was a kid, and we all went, no, we want to stick with standard. We want to stick with imperial measurements because, metric, we don't like it. We don't like it at all. So, unfortunately, most of the bakers that I know do everything by measure. They measure it like on a scale because that's the only way that they can keep their recipes relatively relevant to the recipe, because metric. And then, I remember there was a while there where cookbooks were actually coming out in dual measurements. They were coming out in imperial and metric. And I remember thinking to myself, everything is just a little bit off, But, hey, like I said, standardization of measurements went from, a pinch, or, that much, or, that much, or a couple of these, So, to actually have something that resembles a close measurement is kind of a close measurement. So anyways, that's your lecture tonight on cutting boards. And make sure that, if you want to have a well-run kitchen, that you have your cutting boards because that's something that you need. So anyways, dogs are barking and there's my live. So thank you again for joining us. Again, I'll upload this on my YouTube channel and hopefully you learned something. So there you go. The wonderful world of cutting boards. Just a tiny, tiny little touch of it because, like everything in the kitchen, you can go from 99-cent store, total cheap, to off the charts. So it's totally up to you if you want to have cheap or good or great or whatever. But I highly recommend you have a wood one and a plastic one. So there you go. And don't forget, I love you. Have a great night. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.